Hello and welcome to Global News Factory. I'm your host Vikrant. Brussels is choking on its own coffee this week after hearing that Trump, yes, the same man who has been throwing tariff grenades at India and lecturing the world about buying Russian gas, now wants to sit down for a cozy chat with Vladimir Putin. For EU politicians, this is the nightmare plot twist they did not account for. They had convinced themselves that Trump was their war partner, that if they danced to his tune, he would keep the pressure dialed up on Russia until Moscow either cracked or crawled. Instead, Trump is taking his show straight to Kremlin. A stunned EU official said, as per a report in Washington Post, and I'm quoting, "For all the bluster, Trump has not put a single iota of pressure on Putin. Zero. Zip." See, EU is angry, not happy about it. And why would not they feel betrayed? The EU had already signed a one-sided, desperate bargain with Washington. The deal? The EU would pour over $1 trillion into US projects, investments, arms orders, in return for Trump's promise to arm Ukraine and keep hammering Moscow. This was the deal. At first, it looked like the plan was working. Trump said sweet things about Zelensky, barked at Putin in public, and went after countries buying Russian oil, like India. It was all going to script. Brussels thought they had secured the lead actor in their forever war drama. Then Trump did what Trump does, flipped the script. Now, according to Bloomberg, US and Russian officials are working on a deal to halt the Ukraine war, not to win it, not to roll back Russia's gains, but to lock in Moscow's control of some areas it has seized. So what is the offer on the table? Russia would stop its advance in Kherson and Zaporizhia along the current front lines. In return, the issue of who actually owns the seized areas would be postponed for either 49 or 99 years. Translation: this is not peace, it's a very long pause button, one that essentially rewards Russia with the spoils of war while giving anti-Russia warmongers a fig leaf to wave at press conferences. Some in Kyiv, surprisingly, are open to this idea. They see a ceasefire as a chance to stop the bleeding, literally, even if the political wound remains wide open. So here I want to add one thing, that these claims are not verified yet, and the conditions and clauses may very well change in coming days. Nobody knows, not exactly Trump himself, what he is up to. I now doubt his intentions. I have no idea what his intentions were, are, and will be. And everybody, including Moscow, have lost their trust in Trump. Anyway, let's hope things get better. And yes, we should expect a deal only if other demands of Russia are accepted. I think at this point we all know what those demands are, so I won't repeat those demands. Now, about that 49 or 99 years clause. I have heard experts claim that Putin would never accept a temporary pause, a temporary freeze, but that might not be true. Now, this kind of deal works perfectly for him, for Putin. See, Trump cannot openly rubber stamp Russia's permanent annexation without alienating Ukraine's backers, Ukraine's die-hard backers at home. But he can sell this deal as a time-buying compromise. And Putin, meanwhile, knows that in 99 years, the EU's current warmonger class will be dust. It won't exist anymore, and the world's geopolitical map will look nothing like today's. The EU knows this too, that they will become irrelevant as soon as a deal is reached over Ukraine. And that is why they are panicking. They do not actually want this war to end without a Russian bogeyman. Now, how do they justify spending billions on tanks, missiles, and military bases? How do they sell this narrative of a Europe under siege? That is why they fell into this trap in the first place, agreeing to a bad, ugly deal with Trump, just to keep the war alive and their defense budgets fat. They were banking on Trump being the war's hype man. Instead, Trump is going in the other direction now, at least what is visible now. And Brussels is left holding the $1 trillion bill. Bottom line is this: the EU played a long game to keep the war burning. Trump just decided to blow out the candles. Again, we don't know. Even EU itself does not know what his true intentions are. And that is why Brussels is panicking big time. And even Russians do not know what is coming up. So it's everything, it is in dark now. Let's see what happens in coming days. And we move on to India-US ties now. There is this bombshell report by Bloomberg on your screen right now. It says the slow crash of India-US ties under Trump likely began on June 17th with a single 35-minute phone call between Trump and Modi. At the time, New Delhi was fuming over Trump's claim that he personally brokered peace after a 4-day conflict between India and Pakistan. In reality, as per officials in India, in New Delhi, it was very different. Bloomberg has reported that it was a tense call. It was a tense call between Modi and Trump. Modi told Trump straight the ceasefire talks happened directly between India and Pakistan and only because Pakistan requested it after Indian missile barrage, which rendered many Pakistani bases unoperational. So India's PM pulled no punches. India does not and will never accept mediation. This is what Prime Minister Modi told Trump in that phone call. The official Indian readout even noted that Trump listened carefully to what PM Modi said. Translation: Trump was told to drop the self-congratulations on the ceasefire claim. But that was not the only problem. The next blow came when Trump rolled out the red carpet for Pakistan's Army Chief Asim Munir, as per the report. Now, Asim Munir is the man who India accuses of orchestrating attacks on its soil. That meeting set alarm bells ringing in Delhi. Officials were convinced that Trump would try to stage a face-to-face between Modi and Munir. Imagine that, Modi meeting Munir in White House. And that would have been a big humiliation for Prime Minister Modi. He is meeting with a military leader from Pakistan. That does not make any sense, but it is Trump, you never know. To avoid this trap, Modi refused Trump's invite to the White House on his way back from G7 summit in Canada, and that polite no marked the moment things really soured between India and US. From then on, India noticed a change in tone from the White House. Trump began openly attacking India publicly. The shift was so obvious. Bloomberg reports that for New Delhi, the June 17th call had been the turning point. Trump soon went after India's trade. He announced a 50% tariff on Indian exports to US, and half of that, he said, was a penalty for buying Russian oil. At the same time, Trump dealt with Pakistan with velvet gloves. And here is the irony: Trump does not really care about Ukraine. We all know that. Everybody in Kyiv, in Moscow, anywhere. Everybody knows it. Ukraine is just his diplomatic bargaining chip. The real prize Trump wants is the Nobel Peace Prize. That is why Pakistan moved so quickly to nominate him after the May 10 ceasefire. And Pakistan did not walk away empty-handed either. They got a deal. And now Pakistanis are happily importing oil from the US, which is like more than 10,000 kilometers away from Pakistani shores, turning away from their Middle Eastern neighbors who are just a few hundred kilometers away. So they are paying more shipping charges now for the same oil. All of this makes one thing obvious: Trump's India policy was not driven by US national interests. It was driven by ego, his personal ego. India became collateral damage in Trump's personal PR campaign. And in the process, he torched years of cautious trust building. Indians had already been skeptical of the US under Democratic administrations. Under Trump, that narrative hardened into outright distrust. The damage is permanent. It was never in America's interest to take on India, to target India the way Trump did. And now the little trust that remained is gone for good, forever. Moving on. After months of doing nothing for Gaza, Trump is now taking action. Thank God. What he is doing? Well, he is yelling. So the news is that the US president shouted at Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu during a phone call after Bibi tried to downplay reports of mass starvation in Gaza. According to NBC News, Netanyahu stuck to his public line that there is no starvation, blaming the reports on Hamas propaganda. But Trump cut him off, raised his voice, and claimed his aides had shown him evidence to the contrary. So, Trump has seen the evidence. What does he do with this life-changing information? He yells, "Well done! Something hand this man the Nobel Peace Prize already. These little PR leaks to the press are just the usual political theater, a way to make it look like Trump cares about Gaza without actually doing anything for Gaza. Because in reality, Trump's latest action is calling on every country in the Middle East to normalize ties with Israel, right in the middle of Israel's ongoing destruction of Gaza. He is not demanding a ceasefire, he is not threatening sanctions. He is not sending aid. He is urging Arab nations to sign friendship contracts with the country that has, as of now, killed over 61,000 people, Palestinians, and bombed Gaza into dust while blockading food, water, and medicine. Meanwhile, the world is pushing to formally acknowledge a Palestinian state. Countries across Europe and Asia are leaning toward it, but Trump, he is busy playing matchmaker for Israel's diplomatic expansion. Forget the starving families in Rafah or the flattened neighborhoods in Khan Yunis. What really matters is adding more flags to Israel's friend list. So here we are. Gaza is starving, thousands are dead, and Trump's contribution to humanity is a raised voice over the phone. Yelling diplomacy, coming soon to a history book near you. Well, that is all for now. Thank you very much for staying with me. You're watching Global News Factory.